Have you ever stood in front of someone you liked and couldn't say a word? Have you ever told yourself you prefer being alone only to feel suddenly empty at night? Avoidant people aren't emotionless. They feel too much, so they shut everything down. Today, I'll share 6 signs that you may have become emotionally avoidant without even realizing it. Stay until the end. I'll also talk about how you can start to change this. You can talk easily with people you don't really care about. You crack jokes, the conversation flows naturally. But when you're standing in front of someone you actually like, your mind goes completely blank. You had things to say, but the words just won't come out. You watch from a distance, miss the moment, and only when you get home do you think, I should have said that. This isn't shyness. Trauma expert Dr. Bessel Kolk says trauma blocks our ability to feel. Your body already knows, if I open up, I'll get hurt. Psychologist Bowlby, who studied human attachment, found that children who were rejected every time they expressed emotions eventually learned to hide their feelings as a survival strategy. That's why the door shuts only in front of the people who matter most. Part of being emotionally avoidant. When someone smiles at you, shows joy, or expresses kindness, you're supposed to feel happy, right? But for the avoidant, what comes first in that moment isn't joy, it's anxiety. Am I allowed to accept this feeling? What if I start to expect something? These thoughts rush in, and you look away or cut the conversation short. You turn away because it feels too good. You never learned how to handle good feelings. Neuroscience explains it like this. A brain that has repeatedly experienced emotional rejection begins to show a threat response, even to positive stimulation. When good feelings trigger anxiety, it's not a matter of willpower, it's how your brain was trained. Before you even leave, should I say I'm sick? What excuse can I come up with? Every possible thought runs through your head, but you end up going anyway, because not going feels even worse. The problem is what happens next. Once you sit down, you can't match the mood. You don't know what to say, and your mind either goes blank or fills with random thoughts. Everyone else is laughing and talking naturally, but you feel like you're drifting on the outside, unable to join the flow. You didn't avoid it. You were there, but you were alone. There's a reason this hurts more than not going at all. If you didn't go, you're just someone who wasn't there. But if you go and drift on the edges, you become someone who can't fit in even when they're present. As those experiences pile up, you eventually stop going out for real. And that's how you end up alone. And in this state, have you ever tried manifesting or the law of attraction? You force positive thoughts, but nothing changes. All that comes back is self-loathing and a crushing sense of, I'm just not meant for this. Because positivity built on top of shut-down emotions is like constructing a building without a foundation. What you need to do first isn't think positively, it's to acknowledge that your emotions exist. Isn't great, you don't bother getting to know them. You quickly conclude, this person isn't it. Whether it's a romantic interest or a friend, the moment you see even one thing you don't like, yeah, I knew it, the words come up automatically. This isn't having high standards. It's because the fear of expecting something and being let down is so overwhelming that you'd rather reach a conclusion before you even begin to hope. In psychology, this is called confirmation bias. Because you already believe that people can't be trusted, you only pick up evidence that confirms that belief. You ignore the good in others, magnify the bad, and reassure yourself. See, I was right. Eliminating the chance of disappointment in advance might look like self-protection, but in reality, you're eliminating possibility itself. Express your feelings in front of others. Staying quiet means nothing goes wrong, and that feels like the safest option. But when you drink, things change. All the words you held back, the emotions you suppressed, the things you couldn't express, they all come flooding out at once. You suddenly become talkative, overly emotional, or act like a completely different person. If people have ever told you you're a totally different person when you drink, it's not the alcohol changing your personality. It's the door you kept locked tight finally bursting open all at once. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk also said this: the body keeps the score. Even when we consciously suppress our emotions, the body stores them, and the moment our inhibitions are lowered, everything comes out at once. Shutting down your emotions didn't happen overnight. As a child, there was no one to receive your emotions. When you cried, what came back wasn't comfort, it was indifference or anger. In that kind of environment, a child learns one thing: I must not show how I feel. And at that time, it was the right thing to do. It was the best way to protect the child you were. The problem is you're still living the same way, even as an adult. You're no longer in that environment, but your body still follows the old rules. If I open up, I'll get hurt. If I expect something, I'll be let down. Being alone is safe. Psychologist Jeffrey Young calls these patterns early maladaptive schemas. Childhood survival rules that are now running your adult life. What you're experiencing right now is exactly this. Those rules once protected you, but now they may be the very thing keeping you trapped. If you've been watching this and thinking, this is literally me, I want you to know something first. This isn't a flaw that needs to be fixed. It was a system you built to survive a difficult environment. It's just that now, it's time to update that system. So how do you start? Let me share 3 things. Changing comes later. For now, just notice. When you can't speak in front of someone, oh, I'm shutting down right now. When someone is kind and you feel anxious, oh, my body's trying to run. That one sentence is enough. Psychologists call this affect labeling. UCLA research by Dr. Matthew Lieberman shows that simply naming your emotion calms the amygdala, your brain's fear center. Just by noticing, you're already starting to rewire your brain. Don't try to suddenly become a social person. That will actually backfire. Adding a thank you when you order at a cafe, making brief eye contact at a convenience store. That's enough. What the avoidant type needs isn't a grand social life. It's slowly building the experience that connecting with people can be safe. You decide, I'm going to change. And when you can't keep it up for a few days, you think, I knew I couldn't do it. Sound familiar? This is also a trait of the avoidant type, all or nothing. Go all in or give up entirely, but real change looks like this. If you couldn't do it yesterday, you try again today. If you missed 3 days, you start again on day 4. Stopping is not failure. The only failure is never starting again. You didn't shut down because you're weak. You shut down because you survived something really hard. And the fact that you watched this video to the end, that means you've already started opening the door. Try just one thing today. Before you go to sleep, write down one word for how you felt today. Tired, empty. Okay, anything works. That one word is the beginning. I'll be back with more stories. Subscribe and join me on this journey. Thank you.